Hello, everyone. It's not morning, it's afternoon. Look at my hair. It's the humidity out there. Oh, we had us a time yesterday with the little one. Uh, it went well. Otherwise, it's just that she has so much gas and this and that, and it makes her uncomfortable. And we tried every which way. So today we kind of changed some things on how we do it, and it's been working out great. It's been amazing. So now I have time. Yes. Yes. The little one comes first, right? Yes. Absolutely. So, but I thought I have some time right now, and I'm going to do this. Yes. Might have to be that way now for a while because I'm really trying hard to get the time to do these videos every day. Yes, yes. I know, it's not a big deal. We're gonna get her done eventually. Okay, so let's get right into it. Oh, I finished up more of my pears. I picked some more of the pokeberries. Yes, I want to freeze some as well and start eating them. Yeah, yeah. All right. Did a lot already today. Yes, and then had lunch ready, of course, for my daughter when she came home. Yeah. Okay, so we are in the second book of Maccabees, super chapter 4. Hellenistic propaganda and persecution under Antiochus Epiphanes. 4. The misdeeds of Simon, administrator of the temple. Must be a different Simon here than the one we've gotten to know here. The Simon mentioned above as the informer against the funds and against his country began slandering Onias, insinuating that the latter had been responsible for the assault on Heliodorus and himself had contrived this misfortune. Simon now had the effrontery to name this benefactor of the city, this protector of his compatriots, this zealot for the laws, as an enemy of the public good. Okay. This hostility reached such proportions that murders were actually committed by some of Simon's agents, and at this point Onias, recognizing how mischievous this rivalry was, and aware that Apollonius, son of Menestauus, the general commanding Scioli, Syria, and Phoenicia, was encouraging Simon in his malice, went to see the king, not to play the accuser of his fellow citizens, but having the public and private welfare of the entire people at heart. I'm mixed up. So is this the Simon and this Onias? Okay. Wow, this is weird. He saw that without some intervention by the king, an orderly administration would no longer be possible, nor would Simon put a stop to his folly. Jason, the high priest, introduces Hellenism. When Seleucus had departed this life, and Antiochus, styled Epiphanes, had succeeded to the kingdom, Jason, brother of Onias, usurped the high priesthood. He approached the king with a promise of 360 talents of silver. He bought it, with 80 talents to come from some other source of revenue. He further committed himself to paying another 150 if the king would empower him to set up a gymnasium and youth center and to register the Antiochists of Jerusalem. You guys got me. I have no idea what's going on here right now. I mean, what? When the king gave his assent, Jason, as soon as he had seized power, imposed the Greek way of life on his fellow countrymen. He suppressed the liberties which the kings had graciously granted to the Jews at the instance of John, father of that Eupolemus, who was later to be sent on an embassy to negotiate a treaty of friendship and alliance with the Romans, and overthrowing the lawful institutions, introduced new usages contrary to the law. He went so far as to found a gymnasium at the very foot of the citadel, and to fit out the noblest of his young men in the Petassus. Godless wretch that he was, and no true high priest, Jason set no bounds to his impiety. Indeed, the Hellenizing process reached such a pitch that the priests ceased to show any interest in serving the altar, but scorning the temple and neglecting the sacrifices. Again, they would hurry on the stroke of the gong to take part in the distribution forbidden by the law of the oil on the exercise ground, setting no store. Yeah, it's a long one. By the honors of their fatherland. They esteemed, this is going someplace, isn't it? They esteemed Hellenic glories best of all. But all this brought its own retribution. The very people whose way of life they envied, whom they sought to resemble in everything, proved to be their enemies and executioners. It is no small thing to violate the divine laws, as the period that followed will demonstrate. On the occasion of the quadrennial games, attired in the presence of the king, the vile Jason sent an embassy of Antiochists from Jerusalem, taking with them 300 silver drachmas for the sacrifice to Hercules. But even those who brought the money did not think it would be right to spend it on the sacrifice, and decided to reserve it for some other item of expenditure. And so what the sender had intended for the sacrifice to Hercules was in fact applied, at the suggestion of those who brought it, to the construction of triremes. I have no idea what's going on here. I'm kind of getting it, but I think this is like a part where I want to reread this later on and wrap my head around it. Yes. Do I want to do that? Is this just not... It sounds so confusing, disconnected, chopped up in a way, with all these different things that are being thrown into every sentence. It's very difficult to figure out exactly what happened. Regardless, it sounds as if everybody's going off track again. Antiochus Epiphanes is acclaimed in Jerusalem. Apollonius, son of Menestheus, had been sent to Egypt to attend the wedding of King Philometor. Antiochus, having learned that the latter had become hostile to his affairs, began thinking about his own safety. Really? That was why he had come to Joppa. He then moved to Jerusalem, where he was given a magnificent welcome by Jason in the city, and escorted in by torchlight with acclamation, after which he marched his army into Phoenicia. Okay? Menelaus becomes high priest. When 3 years had passed, Jason sent Menelaus, brother of the Simon mentioned above, and who is that Simon exactly? To convey the money to the king and to complete negotiations on various essential matters. Surely if it was Simon the son of Mattathias, they would tell us. But that's not what it sounds like. He was an administrator of the temple. Okay, alright, you know what? But Menelaus, on being presented to the king, flattered him by his own appearance of authority, and so secured the high priesthood for himself, outbidding Jason by 300 talents of silver. Wow, where has this gone? Now you can buy a priesthood. Whoa, okay. How far off are they all actually from God's path? Huh? Whoa. Interesting. Okay. Whoop, whoop. He returned with the royal mandate, bringing nothing worthy of the high priesthood, and supported only by the fury of a cruel tyrant and the rage of a savage beast. What? Thus Jason, who had supplanted his own brother, was in turn supplanted by a third and obliged to take refuge in Ammonitis. Wait a minute. Simon was... No, I thought Jason was the brother of Onias. Oh, he replaced Onias. Oh, okay. I got that part now. Okay, all right. As for Menelaus, he secured the office but defaulted altogether on the sums promised to the king. Although Sostratus, the commandant of the citadel, whose business it was to collect the revenue, kept demanding payment. The pair of them, in consequence, were summoned before the king. Menelaus, leaving his brother Lysimachus as deputy high priest, while Sostratus left Crates, the commander of the Cypriots, to act for him. Okay then. The murder of Onias. Oh, well. What else is new? While all this was going on, it happened that the people of Tarsus and Malus revolted because their towns had been given as a present to Antiochus, the king's concubine. Antiochus. The king therefore hurried off to settle the affair, leaving Andronicus, one of his dignitaries, to act as his deputy. Well, they're all running off and leaving people behind. Okay. Thinking he had found a favorable opportunity, Menelaus abstracted a number of golden vessels from the temple and presented them to Andronicus, and managed to sell others to Tyre and the surrounding cities. Well, that's going on again. On receiving clear evidence to this effect, Onias retired to a place of sanctuary at Daphne, near Antioch, and then taxed him with it. Huh? Menelaus then had a quiet word with Andronicus, urging him to get rid of Onias. Andronicus sought out Onias, and resorting to the trick of offering him his right hand on oath, succeeded in persuading him, despite the latter's lingering suspicions, to leave sanctuary, whereupon, in defiance of all justice, he immediately put him to death. Well, my goodness, reads like a novel, doesn't it? Woo! The result was that not only Jews, but many people of other nationalities were appalled and outraged by the unjust murder of this man. Well, alrighty then. On the king's return from the region of Cilicia, the Jews of the capital and those Greeks who shared their hatred of the crime appalled to him about the unjustified murder of Onias. Oh, appealed to him. Whew. I'm getting one mouthful after another here. Okay, so anyway, on the king's return from the region of Cilicia, the Jews of the capital and those Greeks who shared their hatred of the crime appealed to him about the unjustified murder of Onias. Antiochus was profoundly grieved and filled with pity, and he wept for the prudence and moderation of the dead man. Burning with indignation, he immediately stripped Andronicus of the purple, tore his garments off him, and parading him through the length of the city, rid the world of the assassin on the very spot where he had laid impious hands on Onias, the Lord dealing out to him the punishment he deserved. Okay, well, are there more? There's a little more, guys. Lysimachus killed in an insurrection. Hey, we got more. Now Lysimachus, with the connivance of Menelaus, had committed many sacrilegious thefts in the city, and when the facts became widely known, the populace rose against Lysimachus, who had already disposed of many pieces of gold plate. The infuriated mob was becoming maniacal, and Lysimachus armed nearly 3,000 men and took aggressive action. The troops were led by a certain Oronus, a man advanced in years and no less in folly. Whoa. Recognizing this act of aggression as the work of Lysimachus, some snatched up stones, others cudgels, while others scooped up a handful of ashes lying at hand, and all hurled everything indiscriminately at Lysimachus's men, to such effect that they wounded many of them, even killing a few, and routed them all. The sacrilegious thief himself they killed near the treasury. Wow, people had enough? That's interesting. So now we're getting to know a little bit what is going on with all this stuff, and how the people aren't happy about it, or again, riled up to a mob to what? Okay, you know what? Whatever. Menelaus buys his acquittal. As a result of this, legal proceedings were taken against Menelaus. When the king came down to Tyre, 3 men deputed by the Senate pleaded the case before him. Menelaus, seeing the case had gone against him, promised a substantial sum to Ptolemy, son of Dorymenes, if he would influence the king in his favor. Ptolemy then took the king aside into a colonnade, as though for a breath of fresh air, and persuaded him to change his mind. The king then dismissed the charges against Menelaus, the cause of all this evil, while he condemned to death the other poor wretches who had they pleaded even before Scythians, would have been let off scot-free. No time was lost in carrying out this unjust punishment on those who had championed the cause of the city, the townships, and the sacred vessels. Some Tyrians even were so outraged by the crime that they provided sumptuously for their funeral, while, as a result of the greed of the powerful, Menelaus remained in power, growing more wicked than ever and establishing himself as the chief enemy of his fellow citizens. I have no idea what to say to any of this, and I'm not going to. Whatever. Don't know what to say. No idea what to say. I find it interesting, though, that many a thing that I've said before in other little chapters here, in other videos, are coming true here, aren't they? Kind of the proof is in the pudding right here. When it comes to what exactly? Kingships, kings, queens, concubines, and the way that leaders are leading. For what purpose? Yes? Okay. Just saying. But this is it for today. I feel like these are just books. We have to just make it through it. And, okay. Well, that worked that well, I guess. It seems like one thing I'm getting, if you're unhappy with someone, or, you know, I mean, then the best way to just get rid of them, right? I mean, okay. And make sure that you get the approval of the people too. So, okay, gotcha. All right. Oh, and if you have enough money, you can buy whatever you need. You can buy your way out of being killed. You can buy whatever position that you need. Okay, gotcha. Okay. It is what it is, right? So, there we go. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share this morning. There's more. There would be more to share, yes. But I gotta get ready. We're going to the store. My son-in-law, the little one, and I, we're going to the store, and she's very happy, content over there right now. So we're going to wait until she gets a little tired. Yes. Then we go to the store. Then she'll be asleep. And it won't take us long. We want to make some kimchi together. Yes, he wants to know how to make kimchi. I love making kimchi. Yes. And but we need a few ingredients. That's what we're going to do today. Isn't that great? Yes. I love it that my son-in-law is so interested in certain things like kimchi, making kimchi. Yes. Gardening. Yes. Certain other things. Yes. Most of all, I love on how amazingly well he takes care of his little daughter. Yes. While mom's at work over the weekend. Yeah. Okay. That's it. That's all I have to share. May Heavenly Parent bless and protect you and embrace you with love. And I will talk to you all, God willing, tomorrow.